situation, the one that enriches quality justice delivery, is the partisan posturing. I'm so even you are shocked. In the past, do you know what the bar used to do? The bar itself sometimes suggests name. You sit down and say, oh, this lawyer or so and so judge has done so well. These are the quality of his judgment. So, we, as a bar, we are suggesting A, B, C, D name for possible consideration. You are not imposing the person, but you are simply saying A, B, C, D, we think. Justice Dennis, look at the number of times he's been. Justice Damepe, look at the number of times. 14 years at the Court of Appeal. Sir Dennis, how many years? Justice Abudabi, Justice Dogo and Co. How many years as High Court Justice? Judge Wilson and Co. These are judges who have dedicated their time only service to the Republic of Ghana. Nothing more, nothing else. So, like you rightly pointed out, if this thing cannot engage the attention of the bar, but what the bar considers prime is how to respond to H.E. John Dramani Mahama, then for me, I see it not to be one born out of good faith, but partisan posturing. And that is why we have made the point so clear that the bar can bury their head in the sand. But the reality is what we've just discussed.
Now, my friends, I come from a background where public service is considered a duty, and where privilege and good fortune demand even greater commitment to the common good. Generations of my forebears and relations established this rich tradition of public service, to which I am greatly indebted, as it is a source of constant inspiration. Indeed, Kofi Abrefa Busia, Prime Minister of the Progress Party government of the Second Republic, and one of the great Ghanaians, said, and I quote, "We regard politics as an avenue of service to our fellow men. We hold that politics is exercised to make life nobler and happier," unquote. I'm fully aware of the responsibility the job of President of the Republic brings. As I'm fortunate enough to carry a sense of the history and struggles that made that job possible, as well as being apprised of the challenges and opportunities of the future. Crucial to the progressive and prosperous future I seek to help create for the Ghanaian people is how to sustain their confidence in the democratic journey on which we have embarked. We celebrated this year 30 years of multi-party democracy under the Constitution of the Fourth Republic, which has provided the framework for the longest period of uninterrupted, stable constitutional governance in our otherwise turbulent history. Next year, we will be going to the polls for the 9th time in the Fourth Republic to elect a new president and new members of parliament. We will, in the results of those polls, witness either the changing of power from one political party to another, as we have done on 3 separate occasions in the Fourth Republic, or the breaking of the 8, something that has never happened before in the Fourth Republic. I'm sure I do not need to tell you what my present preference is. It is public knowledge. What is important, however, is that the Ghanaian people have demonstrated that they are fully conversant with the process of peaceful democratic transitions and need no lessons in the exercise of their democratic rights. Maintaining high standards and integrity in public life is key to extending our association with multi-party democracy. As one writer put it, and I quote, "Standards in public life help to maintain the health of the democratic system and uphold public confidence in it. They help prevent politicians and officials from being swayed by outside interests in their decision-making, and help to maintain a political culture that fosters open and constructive debate. They thereby contribute to a political system that is fair, inclusive, stable, and effective, unquote. The Ghanaian people are expectant that Parliament, the legislative arm of government, will continue to grow into its proper role as an effective machinery for accountability and oversight of the executive, and not be its junior partner. Parliament must stand out as an institution that represents all the values that we hold dear and in which our citizens can take pride. Our judiciary must inspire confidence in the citizenry so we can all see the courts as the ultimate arbiters when disputes arise. A Ghanaian judge must be a reassuring presence and the epitome of fairness. Ensuring high standards and integrity in public life has its own impact on the image of our nation and our ability to attract the substantial amounts of investment, foreign and domestic, needed to help grow our economy. We will attract the requisite investments if we continue to hold ourselves as a haven of peace, security, and stability. And if we continue to show that we are a country where the separation of powers is real and the principles of democratic accountability and respect for the rule of law, individual liberties and human rights are firmly entrenched in our body politic. The legal profession has a catalytic role to play in guaranteeing the sustenance of these values and thereby in helping us uphold the maintenance of integrity in the ordering of our state. The political color of judges is a legitimate topic of public discourse. Indeed, justices at the district and state levels within the federal structure of the American government are elected officials, and even though judges at the federal level, including those of the Federal Court of Appeals and the United States Supreme Court, are appointed by the President with the consent of the Senate, their political coloring is generally well known and accepted. Historically, this has not been the case in Ghana, largely because of the critical controlling role of the Judicial Council, a non-partisan body chaired by the Chief Justice, in the process of judicial appointments. It has meant that judicial appointments are conducted essentially on the basis of professional merit and suitability. Appointments to the lower courts, the High Court, and the Court of Appeal are done by the President exclusively on the advice of the Judicial Council. In the case of appointments to the Supreme Court, because of its unique position in our judicial structure, there are the additional requirements of the consultation of the Council of State and the approval of Parliament. In the overwhelming number of cases of justices designate to the Supreme Court, that approval has been given on a bipartisan basis. You can count on the fingers of a hand the number of justices designate whose approval met less than unanimous consent. I've gone into this matter in some detail because of a new concept that has been recently introduced into our public discourse by no less a public figure than the fourth president of the Fourth Republic, the perennial NDC presidential candidate, John Dramani Mahama. Who has told the world that I have packed the courts with so-called MPP judges, and that one of the key purposes of a putative NDC victory in 2024 will be to enable him balance the courts with so-called NDC judges. Not only are these concepts of, quote, MPP and, quote, NDC judges new in our public discourse, they are also extremely dangerous and represent the most brazen attack on the independence of the judiciary by an allegedly responsible politician of the Fourth Republic. They provide another reason, if more were needed, why right-thinking citizens should ensure the defeat in 2024 of the man whom the first special prosecutor identified as government official number 1 in the still unresolved Airbus bribery scandal.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and thank you for joining me on this Facebook Live session. I come before you as the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress to advocate for a cause, an upcoming exercise that goes to the heart of our democracy. The limited voter registration exercise will give the opportunity to those who have become eligible to vote to place their names on the voters register. It will also allow for those replacing lost voters ID cards an opportunity to transfer your vote from where you currently have it to a new polling station. In a nutshell, I'm here to encourage you, wherever you are in Ghana or beyond, that if you do not have a voter ID card, especially if you've just turned 18, please take advantage of this exercise, which starts on September the 12th, 2023. Start making the necessary arrangements to register and get your voter's ID card. My brothers and sisters, our young people, fellow countrymen and women, it is no secret that Ghana, our beloved country, is currently grappling with a severe economic crisis. More than ever before, the lives of our people today are defined by a daily struggle to eke out a living. We're seeing our daily cost of living skyrocket, and job opportunities are becoming more difficult by the day. Our people, the youth, the elderly, drivers, market women, civil servants, security personnel, teachers, journalists, nurses, and doctors are all experiencing a sense of hopelessness on a scale never witnessed in recent memory. This dire situation calls for urgent action, and the most powerful tool at our disposal is our right to vote. President Akufo-Addo and his administration have failed to address the pressing economic challenges they have exerted on the people of our country, misapplying our precious, scarce resources and overspending on their creature comforts and largesse instead of building the critical infrastructure this country needs for job creation and development. Their promises during their campaigns have not been fulfilled, leaving the ordinary Ghanaian burdened with the consequences of their incompetence, cluelessness, and shameless arrogance. Today, some Ghanaians glorify and make excuses for corruption because the MPP has allowed it to permeate every facet of our society. This must never be accepted as the norm. It hinders progress on many fronts, denying our youth of opportunities that should have come their way if state resources were meaningfully applied. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot afford to let this dire state of affairs continue. Registering and acquiring a voter ID card to vote in the December 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections is not just a basic civic duty, it is an obligation. As a people, our starting point to effect real change in our country is to register and vote.
Wonim asumra ekura edi asumra chi wonim kura edi kasapia chi nti sankofo so obi anso twero ndi onfa nipa me nsanka no no onfro ka mara goso na ode ka skaba be jakwan so ha no mesra no on hwe sabi mere eye ya otimi wo Jesus ma yen wama confusion bi amma omanu emra befa oba so mesre no so tie me a won sa asem na waka no wama emmen no obi antumi nkotwere didin nse won hwe yi a no obi wo sika wo ba bia wo akiri nti so no akofa bus e de so ankofo mo mbeto abetro mu din kwa na chese wo so mto abama no ebia no sai nipa no so kwa ne empedo nso na wo sika ye koto abano ma no wie no akototo pa so a na ye ho anu aye ye kota se no aye ka no a enu ana ne ye da so aye ka masre afo mi a me papa masre no nanado mpane chew nzada msayem ontwe ne hu mfiri ni gefo asem mesre no ontwe ne hu mfiri ho if so obia free say Nigeria for the soldier for ba ya de baba Ghana country bia o support bia on the soldier for no baba Ghana ha ena o ma free ha akọ je ho ena nu ya kura mpa o munya mfa ma ye hweje ne bo ya tinsuom so ya tin ya je ne ye hweje ne bo ti abasre so omu ya soldier for no ntenase na nhihye bia wo so omu ye nya ya sundue no nya ntra ya sundue mu saa sabe den kura ya si tire ni tire nkan ye so obi mefa nkodi emu den kura Ghana ya tie mo sundue o pre wo nyame ba hye no wan munyam ye wo obi o Ghana ha dura bi mu na nsuo nko ano onom na odeda enso ade atime kye no omu ye nko tutuo bia me hayen israwo ya wo mra dwumadie o nyame somaye si emedi no Ghana ha no emra no menko mu bi kura mra no wo mani bebre mo me ma tutuo bia me ma ho me bibia ama me metwa dwumadie a wo se medima go so dima hafo ansa na mekọ amakọ timi gina sa kwanya we so adi asre
no Supreme Court yes say na bato abeto e benye de bentwam ya mobi no kra ni mbe nkasa de same o Supreme Court kasa gina ye no kame na collect kame nko right na nenti nkame ko no wan hwe no ne bedi sa asem ya wo ntimi nko ka bi na mo mesra and the Attorney General of Ghana emra man kwame say adia bi ekoso na ohwe Ghana fo anigye nim a otimi ye de otwaso na no asinof be se papa no batwa na konyanum so onya MPB o no bankoto foforo beto man na se banto aman banto aman anya overwhelming majority no nya 57.56 oya bibi ketwa wa batum as a matter of urgency I'm appealing to the President of the Attorney General, President of the Republic, if he has any role to play, that trial should be aborted. The Attorney General should, as a matter of urgency, file a nolle prosequi to end that particular decision. Sir, make a way because the Twaswa ma ye did the Ghana for attempt. Ye did the Assemblage for attempt. No credit.
Honorable Ministers of State, members of Parliament, the President of the Ghana Bar Association, Sayawa Champon Boafo, the President of the Central Regional Bar, Deputy Attorney General Afetia Yeboah, members of the Bar Council, Dogwahine, Osaberm. It reinforces my conviction and Bouquet would have arrived to deliver a set of Sadi College, where I was part of the last batch of both the ordinary and advanced level candidates in 1994 and 1996, respectively. And in talking about Kipko's contribution to the law, it is fitting to recall that the flame of Adisado burns bright. I understand the Wesley Girls people fondly say quite rightly that they have produced the first lady Chief Justice of Ghana. And congratulations, all three, that's good. But the record also shows that before Chief Justice George Nawood, the three three of the immediate last four Chief Justices. And I talk about Philip Edward Archer, Edward Kwame Redu, and George Kingsley Archer. We all had decided for that. So indeed, the tree was blazed quite some time ago. And it's understandable why the new High Court will be located opposite Adisadel. That is where the law is. Colleagues, I was struck by the importance of the choice of theme by the bar for this year's conference, ensuring high standards and integrity in life, in public life, the role of the legal profession. It cannot be overstated that the legal profession indeed has a huge role to play in the setting of high standards and integrity in public life. The law, which members of this profession practice, consists of a set system of rules by which a particular country or community regulates the actions of its members.
Now, my friends, I come from a background where public service is considered a duty, and where privilege and good fortune demand even greater commitment to the common good. Generations of my forebears and relations established this rich tradition of public service, to which I am greatly indebted, as it is.
Nana Hemafo, the clergy. You come there. One of the I can thank you. Brethren is aware. They are going to complain to him. Hello. Hello. Who is there? He has left long time. Okay.
Yesterday, you made it clear to the committee that Dr. George Akufu Dampari, the Inspector General of Police, is not managing the police well. Have you ever had an opportunity to express this, either directly to him or at the police management board meeting?
Honorable Member and Honorable Chair, several opportunities. And what I said yesterday, if you give me the chance today, I will say so again. He is not managing the police service well. And for me, for the 31 years that I've been in the service, I can tell you he's the worst IGP we've ever had in this country.
Please hold on. Yesterday, we realized that if we are not careful, this will be a trial of the entire police service, which will have national security implications. And therefore, every line of questioning which we want to bring about the issue of the IGP and his competence and the rest of the matters will give you the opportunity in camera, so we listen to you. So members, let's have it at the back of our minds. You see, if we are not careful, understand, then we are trying the IGP in his absence by what he's pronouncing.
I think that he didn't answer my question. He veered into an area that I never questioned on. The question was, the IGP is your immediate boss. And the complaint procedure there is that even if it's your immediate boss that is doing things not right, you go and tell him. Have you ever had the opportunity to tell the IGP, suggesting to him things that you think were not right in the administration, either at a police management board meeting or directly to him? Have you ever done that?
Chair, I think this is a question which has already been asked, and I said yes. So I don't know why my
Thank you very much for the emphasis. To conclude, when your immediate boss refuses or fails to address your grievance, I'm sure there's a next step to take. What is that next step?
Mr. Chair, per the advice that you gave, I will refuse to answer this question. Thank you.
Chair, I think if care is not taken, this is a public hearing, but we need to exercise our discretion in the interest of the public, so that very simple questions which can be answered must be answered. But right now, it looks like the situation has been created whereby the witness wants us to, have much of his testimony done in camera. That would also not serve the public interest. So, for instance, the question that was just posed, that's a very simple question. The public wants to know. The audio is out there. We must establish the justification for most of the things that were said on that audio through the witness to satisfy the test of the public, to, know what really went on. But from every indication, I won't answer this. I will do it in camera. This is a public hearing. So we must balance, strike a balance.
Very good balance we are trying to strike, because you see, we should be mindful of one major thing here, that anything that will become a serious matter in the public domain via this engagement and will impinge on national security matters will not be proper. You see, and also, when he says that I won't answer, that is his right, you know that, Counsel. It's not because of what I said, because we can't force him to answer questions. But you take note of his silence or his refusal to answer a question and comment on it. But what is very important is that I don't want anybody to have an impression that, oh, we are trying to aid the witness so that vital information that the public wants to consume, they will not have it. That is not what we are doing here. Because there's a lot of information that is in Jubilee House that the public is not having. A lot of information. There's also a lot of information with the bureaus that the public does not know. So it's not every information that is good for public consumption, measured against national security. But if a man is seated here and he says he won't answer the question, the committee will take notice of it. Because we as members of the committee cannot compel him to answer questions. But you make note of that, his demeanor and the rest of it. We are all observing him.
Yes, Chairman, I agree. But in the case of national security related matters and when they can be divulged, there is a procedure for, first of all, categorization and classification. So, for instance, a document can be marked as restricted, confidential, etc. There's a procedure. But in this case, there is a witness before the committee. And the basis for this whole exercise is a leaked audio which is already out there. Certain statements have been made very clearly on the audio, and so when questions are posed and they are directly related to what is said in that audio, for instance, you want justification. The entire police service is not happy with the IGP. The public needs to know. The police service is a creature of the Constitution and statute. The people have an interest in how well the police administration, the police service is managed. So, if you come and sit here and make such an emphatic statement, we should not leave the public in doubt. They should know. They deserve to know. I don't think there is any national security dimension to management. The service is not well managed. It's out there. What is the justification? The public should not be denied access to the justification. If we do that, it would constitute a disservice to the public. They should know. The national security, if you start making certain revelations here, and the committee thinks that those revelations are sensitive, we'll stop you right there and say, this one, let's have it in camera. But to say all the justifications should be done in, we'll be doing the public a disservice. So we have to draw the line. You see, the audio is out there. It is even in the interest of the witness to do the justification right here to the hearing of the public. We don't deserve to have an incompetent IGP.
Vice, you are not a witness. I crave your indulgence. Don't say that we don't deserve.
No, that is the point.
No,
so
you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say that. Vice, I crave your indulgence. You see, I'm walking a very thin line, and let me explain. Probably, if I'm wayward.
I'm not saying the IGP is incompetent.
No.
But per his assertion.
But listen. If the IGP is not competent enough, you understand, and the IGP is not here, how can we give a good hearing and come to a conclusion on the mere say-so of a man? It's not right. If we want to bring the IGP on trial.
Placed a ban on illegal mining, the phenomenon we call galamsey, which was destroying our water bodies, vegetation, and our forests. Some 20,000 young people have been engaged to plant more than 30 million trees in 2 years to create jobs and restore degraded land. These policy initiatives are already using positive results to the attainment of the SDG goals, particularly the goal of reducing our carbon emissions.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our job, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied. that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi, inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Right, hello, good morning and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's a Tuesday, the 12th day of September 2023. By His grace, we're live and we're here with yet another edition of the show. Our gratitude go to the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making around here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly. But let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers, Daily Graphic. Public office accountability, onslaught on ill-gotten wealth, new bill to tackle corruption, President. EC begins limited voter registration today despite court injunction. GTech freezes unaccredited academic programs. Political coloration of judiciary dangerous, President. IGP faces accusers in camera today. Ghanaian Times. At the GBA conference, fight against corruption on course, President assures. Nearly 200,000 tons of cocoa smuggled out of Ghana. Climate action. Ofriata outlines roadmap for Africa's sustainable development. EP orders arrest of Star Atsam's enterprise owner over explosion. IGP before parliamentary committee probe into leaked tape today. Daily Guide. Airbus government official 1, Nana Jabs Mahama. IGP storms parliament over leaked tape. Voters registration begins today. Shamar query not licensed. NLA launches afternoon draw. Signs Ghana Post Pact. The New Crusading Guide. Mahama's concept of NDC judges dangerous should lead to his defeat in 2024 Akufo-Addo. Occupy Ghana chases presidency over conduct of public officers bill. Government prioritizing roads, electricity under Agenda 111 project upon Nkrumah. EC and NPP accused of disenfranchising Ghanaians in limited voter exercise. Acting President of 7th-day Pentecostal Assemblies exposed over attempts to delay elections as faction calls for judicial intervention. Gerald Nyanyofio re-elected as NPP Lada Dekotopon parliamentary candidate. The Insight. Afaglo accuses EC, NPP of plotting to disenfranchise Ghanaians in limited voter registration exercise. Trechu Opoku, he says ECOWAS is now local pawn of France and the US. Togolese national allegedly installed chief in president's maternal house, says Bekai Akwamufie Royal Palace. Cuba prepares to host G77 summit from 15 to 16 September 2023. Algeria offers solution to Niger crisis amid ECOWAS war threats. The Daily Statesman. My government fighting corruption in concrete deeds, President Akufo-Addo. NHI saving lives of children with childhood cancers. Government prioritizes roads and electricity in Agenda 111 projects. NLA launches noon rush draw. Signs deal with Ghana Post. IGP appears before committee probing Bugri Nabu tape today. And the Finder, Agenda 111 to create over 20,000 direct jobs, another 25,000 jobs in the design and construction phase. 54 post offices to sell NLA games and afternoon draw starts. NHI paid 244,079 cedis for 226 childhood cancer cases. President rejects accusations of clearing appointees accused of corruption. Minerals Commission says Omni Quarry has no license. I'm focused on recapturing Pandai seat for NPP, Richard Nyama. And the Daily Post. Ghana Bar Association disgraces itself again. turns its conference into NPP 2024 campaign platform. An outright useless comment from a president, Mokhtari descends on Akufo-Addo over bar conference comments. Akufo-Addo accepts he is the mother serpent of corruption, as former special prosecutor said. Mahama's Facebook posts about another clear case of shady judicial manipulation forces registrar to act responsibly. And that's about it. For the front pages, we'll be back shortly.
Ready for something refreshing and great tasting for your kids' enjoyment?
Angel Cola.
For your graduation enjoyment?
Angel Cola.
Beach hangout?
Angel Cola.
For all your refreshing moments?
Angel Cola.
For your parties, get-togethers, events, and celebrations, enjoy a chilled bottle of Angel Cola.
Radio Grandma, today is your day. Over to you.
Thank you.
Enjoyment Cola.
Angel Cola.
The Enjoyment Cola. Enjoy all your moments and fun time with Angel Cola. This advert is FDA approved.
Is your gateway to a theme park full of gaming excitement. A whirlpool of wonder where your favorite games come to life. Where you can take to the skies with max payouts that reach into the millions. All in the palm of your hand. Visit betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Bet responsibly. Betway. Bet your way.
JA Plant Food Ghana Limited has introduced the all-new Jetto X70 Plus to the market. Jetto X70 Plus is a modern, spacious family SUV with a stylish design, advanced technology, and outstanding quality that promises you luxury with affordability. Jetto X70 Plus comes with an exceptional engine warranty of 4 years or 100,000 kilometers.
Meet your business and private printing needs successfully. We have just the right products and services. At Appointed Time Printing Limited, we specialize in digital printing, offset printing, packaging, and security printing. Our innovative designs and complete professional touch on our print products such as posters, flyers, brochures, magazines, poll cards, and any other print solution of your choice ensure that our customers are always happily connected to their audience. With our security printing section, our clients are assured of a highly secured and confidential work process from start to finish. At Appointed Time, our prices are very competitive. Locate us at the old GNTC building near Swansea Shopping Arcade, Accra. Contact us on 0501 454165, 0501 454167. Appointed Time Printing Limited. Our printing is a solution.
In life, choice is good, but choice plus safety is way better. Your safety and comfort is paramount. Under the cylinder recirculation model, you can buy LPG in a safe environment. All cylinders are inspected and maintained to the best safety standards, so your safety is assured. Just take your empty cylinder to the nearest exchange point and swap it for a filled cylinder. Different cylinder sizes will be available to meet your pocket size. Imagine cooking in a smoke-free environment. This will improve the health and well-being of you and your family. Choose LPG in a safer model of distribution. Cylinder recirculation model. Securing your safety. Creating more jobs. A message from the National Petroleum Authority under the patronage of the Ministry of Energy.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say, but as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
My son, there's more blessing in giving than receiving. When you fear for you and the makers in
The pneumatological aberration of the Lord revealed unto me this night, that me and my household should go out into the world and bless the world.
Makers Electronics Company Limited. Up to 67% discount. Our selected appliances.
This is what I call quintessential immaculatability.
The Makers Electronics Company Limited. Taifa Burkina Highway. Amasama Zongo Junction. Edike Pharmacy Dining. Oyer Fateman Boga Junction. Ashaman Valco Flat. Kumasi. Ahinema Kokobin. Asafu Wachi Hospital Junction. Sakrani. Number 9 Market.
Tell mom and dad about the Makers Blessing Attack program
from 0552 222 253 and 0552 222 254. Terms and conditions apply.
Inside Black Star Press Limited, grow inside the invective minds, evolving concepts and the creative trends. The printing press you need now. Witness the beauty, diversity and natural wonder with our works. Inside Black Star Press Limited, in association with Lionhead Group of Companies. Call us now on 0200-880-000 for all your print works. Black Star Press Limited, a worldwide reputation for quality printing.
ECG is now cashless. My studio lights are always on. I never run out of power. With the ECG Power app, I'm able to report an issue, check my credit, buy power, all in real time whenever I need to. I don't worry if ECG vendors are closed. In the comfort of wherever I may be, I still keep my lights on thanks to the ECG Power app. You can simply use mobile money wallets, Visa or MasterCard. It does not attract e-levy. With the ECG Power app, you are totally covered. To download, go to the App Store or the Google Play Store. You don't have a smartphone? Don't worry. No internet? Don't worry. No data? Do not worry. Just dial *226#. This is what I call convenience in your hands. ECG Power app. A yes, simple pa.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. With me on the show this morning, I have a former Deputy Minister of Communications, Felix Kwachi Ofosu, is also the NDC's candidate for the AAK constituency in the Central region. Good morning, Felix.
Oh, good morning, Randy.
Right. Also with me on the show this morning is a member of parliament for the Botiano English Amanfro constituency, the Honorable Sylvester Tete. Sly, good morning.
Good morning, Randy.
Right. Okay, so I guess that you're all in the Momo business. You keep doing your Momo every day. But how does it feel like getting rewarded for something that you do anyway or you love doing? Now, this is why you need to download the Momo app on Play Store or the App Store and use Momo Pay for your day-to-day transactions to a merchant, either through the QR code or the merchant ID, and stand a chance of winning 1,000 Ghana cedis weekly and other amazing prizes. It's the Momo season by MTN, and that is where you get rewarded for doing something that you do anyway or you love doing. Now, the merchants are also not left out of the reward. Receive payments and win. So keep using your Momo Pay on the Momo app and get rewarded. There are lots and lots of exciting prizes for everyone. So what are you doing today? Transact more with Momo Pay and more points and win big this Momo season. So simply visit Momo Merchants application.mtn.com.gh. Momo Merchants application mtn.com.gh for your Momo for Business account today. It's the Momo season, so just Momo it with Momo Pay. Terms and conditions apply. And why don't you secure your future with the Accra Business School? Boost your career with the prestigious MSc degrees from KNUST. You can choose from Human Resource Management, Communication and International Marketing, International Relations, Public Affairs, or IT Management. In just 12 months, the MBA can be yours. Dive into the BSc programs in IT Security and Cybercrime, IT Management and Business Management, endorsed by top universities in Ireland and Wales. The Accra Business School offers flexible entry payment and learning options convenient to you. It's time to unlock your potential and take position. Visit www.abs.edu.gh or call the Accra Business School on 0263 888 555 or 0263 888 666. Visit the campus at Spintex Road, Christ Square. Let Accra Business School elevate your future today. And don't let aging and physical infirmity stand your way in enjoying those mansions, homes, and offices that you have labored to put up. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use the stairways day in and day out. But worry no more, because with the portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you're sure of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions or homes. Is a simple to use self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility to choose from. You may call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home or office. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days with modifications to your building. Visit Lifts and Elevators Ghana at Sakumano for your solutions and free consultations. You can reach Lift and Elevators 0200 535 515 or email at elevatorsgh@gmail.com. And what does wealth mean to you? Do you want to live like a tycoon? Remember who's got the mola, has got the power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on Adom TV at 9 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. daily. Now pick up your phones, tablets and computers and download the Game Park Games app on Play Store. You can also play on the websites www.gameparkgames.com or by dialing *946# on all networks. Just choose 4 numbers from 0 to 9. It's easy to play and easy to win. Charlie, make we play this game and make some mola. Nobody beats our odds in Ghana. Game Park Games, more mola, more power. This game is regulated by the National Lottery Authority and is not for persons under the age of 18. Play responsibly. Now, Sly, let me start off with you, but I'll take the headlines. So I start with a Daily Post from the back. Ghana Bar Association disgraces itself again, turns its conference into NPP 2024 campaign platform. An outright useless comment from a president. Mokhtari dissents on Akufo-Addo Bar conference comments. Akufo-Addo accepts is the mother serpent of corruption, as former special prosecutor said. Mahama Facebook post about another clear case of shady judicial manipulation forces registrar to act responsibly. And then the finder says president rejects accusations of clearing appointees accused of corruption. The Daily Statesman, my government fighting corruption in concrete deeds. President Akufo-Addo. Okay, the Insight doesn't have anything on it. The New Crusading Guide, Mohammed's concept of NDC judges dangerous, should lead to his defeat in 2024. Akufo-Addo. Occupy Ghana chases presidency over conduct of public officers bill, and we've had the opportunity of discussing this much earlier, I think a couple of months ago. Daily Guide, Airbus Government Official 1, Nana Jabs Mahama. Ghanaian Times, at the GBA conference, fight against corruption on course, President assures. Daily Graphic, public office accountability, onslaught on ill-gotten wealth, new bill to tackle corruption, President. Political coloration of judiciary dangerous, President. And then if you look at the online portals, there's something on GBA also here. Okay, I'll try and get that. But it's about the GBA also condemning the politicization of their platform by President Akufo-Addo. And I'm sure that you've seen that video of Prophet Eduji Tamaklo, who last week prophesied that the GBA will give its platform to President Akufo-Addo to take on President Mahama. Sly.
Randy, good morning.
Good morning
to Felix and to our viewers. Let me take this opportunity to thank the chiefs and people of Botiano for assisting me yesterday to cut a sword for an SHS project coming to Botiano. It was a short but colorful
public school.
Yes, it's a public school. Yeah, through the government of Ghana and the Ministry of Education. It's an effort I started, I'm initiating, and I believe that the Minister for Education has given me his word to support it. Randy, if you take the entire coastal stretch from Old Barrier, Aplako, Botiano, Oshi, Kukrubiti to Langba, the population there is enormous. We haven't had the benefit of a senior secondary school along the coastal stretch, making accessing senior secondary education quite difficult for residents in
the
and
entire
around.
constituency?
No, entire constituency we have two.
Okay.
One in Christian Methodist in Akwasa area, and then the English Amman from secondary school. But even
this
those
is a coastal stretch.
This is a coastal stretch. Even that the NASEC English Amman from secondary school is a third in terms of population in the whole of Greater Accra. Never fit in a country, has huge population, is overly populated. The same thing applies to the Christian Methodists. So we really need the secondary school. It's been something the community has been craving for a very long time. I was told when I was campaigning, and I made that solemn pledge that I would lead the charge to ensure that the community has the benefit of senior secondary school. So yesterday was a very colorful celebration. Let me thank my constituency chairman, my executives for coming around to assist to get this thing done. Today, I'm engaging the youth of Botiano, myself and the MCE. I mean, it's a series of engagement forums we've created to engage the youth on many developmental issues in the constituency. So today, we have opportunity to meet the youth of Botiano at the youth forum at 3 p.m. So I entreat every young person to make it a point to attend. In Botiano, I think it's one of the churches in Botiano. So that's what we're doing today. Randy, I think that with respect to the GBA conference, I heard and saw Eduji prophesying that they will give the platform to His Excellency the President to attack former President Mahama. I know he knows that if a non-lawyer makes judicial comment and a lawyer has a platform of which is a member of GBA, obviously he has a right, he reserves the right to set the record straight. And that should not be seen to be an attack on the former President Mahama. So I think that last year in Ho, or last 2 years as it were, there were topical issues that the former president waged in, trying to cast in nose at the judiciary or the Bar Association and then the judicial system of our country. He's the president of the republic, so if he has opportunity, he reserves every right to make public comment. Again, yesterday I heard Eduji, and I think that the Bar Association cannot tell its speakers what to say at bar conferences. And I think that it is proper that they must, he is a member of the Ghana Bar Association, and if he has anything to say. Last year they did the same thing. What did the president say wrong? If you look at the attacks on the judiciary, the president keep making the point consistently that we must refrain from politicizing our judiciary, to the extent that last week or two, former President Mahama said that if he has opportunity again to come, the injustice of Akufo-Addo appointing so many, he calls it an injustice, so many members of the bench, he will equal it by appointing NDC lawyers into the bench. They should avail themselves to be appointed. I found that statement as highly irresponsible on the part of the former president of the republic. I believe that when MPP took office in 2001, for 11 years, most of the members of the bench were people appointed by the previous administration, and nobody had any reason to doubt the competence of members of the bench. And we've had cause to see some former parliamentary candidate of the then ruling NDC being appointed to the bench, and we haven't complained about that. So I think that the works of the members of the bench can always come for scrutiny, and nobody should be running away from that. But when we make public comment or to that effect, obviously it does not speak well for the judiciary in our country. And I've seen what the former President Mahama is talking about. Look, I have my own issues about the EC and the registration exercise and all. But taking a swipe at the judiciary at the least opportunity, I think is something the former president himself must be wary about. So for Nana or the president, a lawyer for that matter, I think that when he has opportunity, you can't take to social media like former President Mahama is doing. It's the biggest forum, and that is why we are discussing it. So I think what he said is to set the record straight. I've read former President Mahama's statement on social media with respect to the Chief Justice. Randy, I haven't seen when a Chief Justice is not in office to undertake her official duty that amounts to justice being delayed. They made an application on Thursday, and I was told by his own statement that the woman was not in the office. I don't know whether it is only the Chief Justice that reserves the right to appoint a judge to sit on a matter of that nature. But we take on the Chief Justice and making the whole thing look like the MPP and the EC, together with the judiciary, trying to prevent the injunction application that they put, they file. I don't think that is fair to all of us as Ghanaians. So I don't see what the president had said wrong at the bar conference. At bar conferences, that is the biggest opportunity for anybody that has been given the platform to set some record straight.
So this is the view of the bar itself. So it's what the president said today is rather unfortunate, and we condemn it. The aspect we condemn has to do with his appeal to Ghanaians by way of campaigning of a sort to vote against Mahama, just because he made a comment that President Akufo-Addo has allegedly packed the court with MPP-aligned judges as described by President Mahama. And also bringing up the issue of the investigations allegedly linking former President Mahama to the Airbus scandal. Our platform is not supposed to be used for that, and we condemn that leg of President Akufo-Addo's comment. We are not going to allow anybody to use our platform to campaign politically for or against the opponent. The GBA, however, added that they will not apologize to Mahama, as it had only condemned him when he had done the same thing in the past.
Yeah, so what are they crying about? So Randy, the GBA itself must be concerned about the comment that the bench will be packed with NDC lawyers.
They said they have condemned it.
Exactly.
When the statement was
exactly,
made,
yes.
They had condemned
so for a president, a lawyer, and a member of the same association, re-emphasizing what they themselves had criticized and condemned, why would they be faulting?
They say he went beyond that.
But they've cited that as reason number one.
Yes.
Reason number one.
Yes.
So they've said two things. Reason number one.
Yeah, but they said that he says that they said, let me just try and they said that he brought the issue of voting. He brought the issue of voting, that he should be voted against for that. They think that that is a
their problem is not with the comment the president was responding to, but urging them to vote against him. But Randy, such a dangerous, somebody is telling you that when I come, do they know how that will affect their own profession, as it were?
How will he affect them?
Why wouldn't he affect it? He's telling them that even those who are not NDC members, they will never have opportunity to serve at the bench when opportunity comes if they are not members of the NDC. Is that not indicting on all of us and their integrity and the competence they have? So they themselves should be condemning that, and they should not be voted for.
But they did that.
He should not even be voted for in the first place.
Okay.
Because Mahama himself had never offered the public apology. To the extent that you say, all the professors, those practicing the profession of legal profession, the person seeking your mandate, I'm not sure he will not seek their mandate. Seeking your mandate is telling you, when I come, appointment to the bench will be on the basis of the fact that you are NDC member. Because he thinks that somebody, a president, had appointed people. He thinks that he has appointed so many people into the bench. He has not even established that the people he alleged that have been appointed to the bench are all MPP members. He hasn't been able to establish it. So there could be people who are not apolitical that have been appointed to the bench. But this one, he's gone further to say that I will appoint only NDC members to the bench. To do what? What do they do at the bench?
No, I'm saying to do what?
To do what?
Yes.
At the bench, what do they do?
No, what did he say? Why did he say he was doing that? I just want you to...
He said he was doing that to equal the number of
balance.
people. To balance. What is a balance? How do you balance what you claim or you are alleging not to be the right thing with an illegality as well?
What makes it an illegality?
But if you say you are going to appoint, because the bench must be apolitical. So to appoint political people that you have identified, they are card-bearing members of your party, and you think it's questionably right to do so.
But
I don't think it's right.
I don't know if you've seen Manasseh's post. And he makes an interesting observation. He says that the president yanks somebody off the campaign platform, an MPP parliamentary candidate, off the campaign platform in 2020, and makes him a high court judge in the same year, 2020. And in 2 years, in 2022, he appoints the same person as a Supreme Court judge. That does not amount to a threat as far as the judiciary is concerned.
But there was a parliamentary candidate who had contested, one former MP on the ticket of NDC, having been made a judge. So we are only looking at the competence of the person, and
so why then do you say that they're supposed to appoint apolitical people onto the bench?
No, but that's what he's saying. That's what President Mahama is saying. For me, I don't have a problem. I've seen people who had contested on the ticket of the NDC being made judges of the court in this country. Let's look and criticize their work, scrutinize their work, whether or not the work fit within the law, the legal framework under which they have to work. But if you go there to say that you are going to balance appointment that you have not even established, that the people you are alleging that have been packed at the court are MPP members, he hasn't been able to prove that. So what are you going to balance in the first place? They are Ghanaians. And whoever you appoint, you have opportunity to appoint, obviously will be Ghanaian. So what are you balancing in the first place? So I think that the GBA itself must be interested. And if such a person is seeking your mandate and the president says that it's so dangerous for our country, it's so dangerous for the judiciary, it's so dangerous for your own profession, don't give him the opportunity. You think that is a campaign platform.
Right.
I don't think that is a campaign platform. So they themselves must make an inner introspection about the comment he made. I'm not sure the members of the GBA will not be voting in the coming elections. So the president is saying that when you go to the polls, be wary of people of this nature that will stand in your way, in your professional way, so that you don't give them the mandate. What has the president done wrong? So if they think that that is a campaign message the president is putting out there, why? Are they not going to vote? They are going to vote. We had lawyers who identifies with the NDC, and they had conference that they invited the former President Mahama to speak to them. Most of them were at the bar conference. They are also going to cast their vote. So if he's telling you when you go to the polls, be wary of such a character, don't vote for him. I'm not too sure the president has done anything untoward. So for that reason, I don't think that the Bar Association itself is doing itself a good service by coming out with this statement. I haven't seen anything the president has said wrong.
All right. So Edgar Redu says that you are out of place. The president is not a member of the GBA. He stopped practicing as a lawyer long ago. He has no practice license. He pays no dues. He's therefore not a member of the bar.
Very well, very well, very well. So I stand to be corrected. Very well. So I think that, I mean, everybody knows that President Akufo-Addo is a lawyer.
Yes.
So he can rejoin the Ghana Bar Association at any time. I've known senior lawyers in this country who have, even the Speaker of Parliament has opted out of the Ghana Bar Association. And I'm not sure he cannot comment on matters of that nature. So I think that for that reason, we should not make it look like the president has committed any crime for saying that when you go to the polls, don't vote for him. But they are also voters, and they'll be voting. We are interested in that. So Randy, for that matter, I'm not too sure we should waste a lot of time. Yesterday, I heard Lawyer Iduji screaming. He knew your man, what your man said, would be getting a befitting response. He's gotten a response, and you are crying over it. So I don't think that should be something that we should be discussing.
Questions. Something. I don't know how you. He says, how can John Mahama asking the lawyers who are sympathizers of the NDC to join the bench means he's going to appoint them to the Supreme Court? So it's still slight to stop his reasoning. He says, where did John Mahama say in his speech that he will appoint them to the bench? Did he say that to Akufo-Addo was inferring from what he said?
But what did he say? He said he will appoint them to the bench to balance it. So what is he talking about? The bench from High Court, Appeals Court, Supreme Court is all a part of the bench. So what is a senior Nilante is saying? I mean, that's what exactly the man said. He said Akufo-Addo's appointment is not only in the Supreme Court. Some are the High Court, Appeals Court, and the Supreme Court. And he says as too many, he's going to balance it. So he's balancing from the High Court to the Supreme Court. So exactly what he said is what I'm quoting here. I don't know what senior Nilante is talking about.
Felix.
Andy.
Yes.
Two quick initial comments. You see, that Bar Association condemnation of Akufo-Addo should be dismissed.
Why?
It is not of any moral value. It is a response to intense public backlash for availing their platform for this sort of pedestrian politicking by the president and the Attorney General. In fact, the Attorney General did even more politics. He actually asked for Bawumia to be voted for. The Bar Association knew this was going to happen. It is not the first time they invited President Akufo-Addo. If I'm not mistaken, this is the third time President Akufo-Addo has headlined their conference. And he has done that all the time. So if they were interested in averting a repetition, they wouldn't invite him. There's no compulsion to invite President Akufo-Addo because he was a lawyer. There are many prominent personalities in this country who may not even be lawyers, who will have something more meaningful to say than President Akufo-Addo. So perhaps, with the exception of the Attorney General, who is the leader of the bar and who must be there, any number of distinguished personalities could have been invited. It is just that the GBA has lost its glory. As far as I'm concerned, they are now the legal wing of the MPP. They should stop wasting our time. They should close the loop and stop wasting our time. So that condemnation is devoid of moral value, must be dismissed offhandedly. Randy, number two, I knew President Akufo-Addo would be a disaster. Yesterday, he proved that his tenure is an aberration that should never have happened to this country and should never happen again. This is a president who goes to a bar conference and believes that throwing presidential tantrums is what will get us in the NDC to stop commenting about his deliberate destruction of state institutions through deliberate politicization. Look, he is behaving like a fascist leader. What he wants to do is to capture this our state in its entirety. So everywhere must be packed with MPP types. He has done it at the Electoral Commission. Randy, if you go to the NCC, the lady there is an MPP lady. She's called Kathleen Nadi. Everybody knows it. You go to the Electoral Commission, Jimen Sambos Manasari, Apia Hene, an MPP propagandist sitting in studios defending them, has been appointed as a Electoral Commissioner. So Randy, I, in Abra Sebukwamankese, have to contest an election against an MPP candidate. And the moderator is Apia Hene, an MPP propagandist. what does Akufo-Addo want to tell us? That we are all mad in this country. We can't see. And Sly wants to defend this sort of thing. Randy, when we see that President Akufo-Addo is politicizing the judiciary, or when President Mahama makes the point, he does not make the point having just woken up from a slumber. There is fact. Look, Randy, when President Akufo was around, we knew that the likes of Justice Doche, Justice Nene were all at the MPP sympathies. But at least President Akufo had some subtlety. You know, he added some finesse to what he was doing. But as for President Akufo-Addo, he has chosen the crudest method to populate our judiciary with MPP types for the sole purpose of protecting his terrible government from scrutiny and accountability. And there are many things that have happened, Randy, that I will give you evidence of that batters the point. You see, when Sly pretends that he is unaware of the coloration of the people we are talking about, first of all, we have not said everybody appointed to the judiciary is MPP. There are some fine judges in there, and they do a decent job. So President Mahama has not made a blanket statement. But there is a preponderance of highly partisan individuals whose political identity is crystal clear, who have been put there for the purpose of protecting Akufo-Addo's terrible governance. That is what we are condemning. Look, Randy, Solomon Chumesi, I will give your producer his video, sitting in a studio in Kumasi, representing the New Patriotic Party as a propagandist. He later became the Doma East MPP chairman. Randy, he was appointed to the High Court by President Akufo-Addo. There's another one called Eric Ansa Nkuma. Again, I will give your producer his Facebook post. First of all, he even used to work with Obribwa, the MPP Deputy General Secretary in his chambers. He is a known MPP activist who publicly voiced his support for President Akufo-Addo. And it is public. Randy, I will give it to your producer. She can display it on your screens for everybody to see. Randy, Justice Yagewu, and I'm sure Sly knows him. As for him, he publicly admitted his MPP membership before the Public Accounts Committee, the Appointments Committee of Parliament. Yeah, he contested the 2016 MPP, he stood as the MPP candidate in the 2016 elections in whole West or so. In fact, he was the one that Manasseh was referring to in the post. And as for him, he is on record to have admitted it. So it's not a matter of debate. Randy, Clemens Honyeniga was an appeals court judge when he openly declared support for President Akufo-Addo's re-election bid. A few months after that, he was made a Supreme Court judge. Randy, there's another one called Dr. Ernest Owusu-Dapa, who is a known MPP person, who was a member of President Akufo-Addo's legal team in the 2020 election petition. He's been made a High Court judge. Randy, there is Justice Nabila Sahiba, who actually is the wife of President Akufo-Addo's trade minister. So the woman sleeps with her husband on the same bed. And we are told that she is insulated from political influences.
Trade minister.
Yes, Katie Hammond. Randy, there's more that I could go on and on and cite. So we are not just shooting from the hip. And this has been done deliberately to skew the scales of justice in favor of President Akufo-Addo. And Randy, we see it on a daily basis, the effect of this. And let me give you a few examples. Randy, even in this injunction that has been brought against the EC, right, Randy, only 2 weeks ago, the Ghana Police Service wanted to stop a demonstration by opposition forces against President Akufo-Addo. Did they not get a judge to sit on the case? Randy, did they not get a judge to sit on the case? Just a week after that, 4 political parties filed a suit against the EC to stop them from commencing a registration exercise that is starting today. Suddenly, the Chief Justice disappears, and the entire judiciary disappears with her. We cannot get a judge to sit on that case. President Mahama makes a post about that matter yesterday. Within minutes, suddenly the registrar of the court sends a message to one of the lawyers telling him that 17th October, a date by which the registration exercise would have been completed, is the date fixed for the hearing of the case. So the injunction is moot. The EC can go ahead to do what we consider to be an illegality. Meanwhile, within that same period, the police were able to secure an injunction, or at least get a judge to sit on an injunction that they wanted. Why the different strokes for different people? Randy, the minority, and he is in parliament. When the minority threw out the e-levy, and the 2021 budget. A certain Justice Abdullahi went to court, the Supreme Court, to seek to have the rejection overturned. Right? Within days, that case was listed and heard, and the minority's rejection of the budget was overturned. Then the majority came into parliament and purported to have reinstated the budget. The minority also filed a suit at the Supreme Court to challenge that and have it overturned. That suit has been pending for 2 years, Randy. So by the time they come to look at it, the budget cycle would have been, in fact, the budget has been completed. Another one has been completed, and we are in a new one. So it is moot. Randy, what did they not do to open it? Clemens Onyoniga, a judge who had openly expressed support for President Akufo-Addo, was appointed to sit on the case. The man reached 70. At the time, he had become a Supreme Court judge, and so the law required him to retire. Right? He was given 6 months extension to complete the case. He could not complete it, so another judge was appointed. This judge says that in the interest of fairness and balance, let me start the case afresh so that I can even scrutinize the demeanor of witnesses. The Attorney General is unhappy about it. Randy, within weeks of this judge was transferred from Accra to another place. And a new judge appointed to sit on the case to continue from when Clemens Onyoniga finished. This is not coincidence. Randy, look at what they did in the Muntie 3 case. 3 young men disparaged judges. Everybody condemned it. They were hauled before the Supreme Court. The owners of the station on which they sat, who didn't even know who was appearing on their station, were also hauled in. They were given 10 minutes to defend themselves. The boys were given 3 months imprisonment and heavy fines. The owners of the station were fined heavily too. Kenegapon, an MP who actually has a greater standard of responsibility in society, insulted a judge in language that I cannot repeat here. He merely wrote a letter to the Chief Justice to complain that because the judge had cited him for contempt, the judge should be removed from the case, and it was granted. Dr. Puni has gone heaven and earth to get Clemens Onyoniga removed. It was never granted. But Kenegapon, by the stroke of a pen, complained that the judge could be biased against him because he held him in contempt. That judge was removed. And then he was given a slap on the wrist for perhaps what is even a worse offense than what the 3 boys in the Muntie 3 case did. Why the different strokes for different people? As for NDC boys, they must go to jail and rot. But as for Kenegapon, he must work. He must even have a judge of his preference sitting on the case. But as for Puni, he can go heaven and earth. The same judge will be maintained. And even if a new one comes who makes a favorable ruling for him, that judge must be changed. And we are supposed to keep quiet and swallow all of this. Because why? We are slaves in Ghana. We are second-class citizens. Akufo-Addo and his MPP what are better. So whatever they want, they should get. And we should be enslaved. And Akufo-Addo behaves like the typical bully, Randy. He punches you in the groin. And when you are written in pain and you scream, he says that you are disturbing his peace. So you should keep your mouth shut. Right? We will never keep quiet. And the GBA, Akufo-Addo, Godfrey Dami, must hear us. We will never keep quiet over this mistreatment. Why? There's a reason why justice is represented by the lady who is blindfolded, has a scale and a sword. The blindfold means that she does not see who is before her. The scales means that she will do a balanced job. You cannot swindle an opposition, suppress us, do everything in your power to undermine us. Look at this birth certificate ruling, Randy. Because President Akufo-Addo wanted a new register, despite the fact that he won elections with the 2016 register. Suddenly we are told that, Randy, a birth certificate, I'm sure you've seen a birth certificate before, at least you have some for your children. Randy, your name and where you come from, your hometown, and that of your wife and where she comes from is captured on the birth certificate. Yet we are told in this country by a court that that certificate cannot determine where your child comes from. What kind of unfairness is this? What kind of imbalance and injustice is this? And when all of this has happened and we complain, we are told that we are undermining the judiciary. Randy, the judges who can pronounce death on you and I, can sentence me and Sly to life imprisonment, have suddenly become so fragile, they are spring chicken, that they will kill over and die the moment you criticize the judiciary. So we should keep quiet. Randy, in a democracy, nobody is above scrutiny. This is a democracy, not a judicial tyranny. It is a democracy, for crying out loud. And everybody reserves the right to comment on the work of public officials. No judge will tell us that after having been paid through our taxes, they are suddenly beyond scrutiny, and that if you scrutinize them, the institution will collapse. And it will not collapse. All the criticism that judges have received in this country, it has not stopped them from handing down sentences to people they deem guilty. So nobody will use that as a facade to conceal clear wrongdoing and injustice and unfairness against one section of society to the benefit of another. And President Akufo-Addo, you see, I watched in amazement. I was beside myself with laughter when I listened to President Akufo-Addo. Who is he to presume to lecture us on what we can or cannot say about the judiciary? He, when he was Greater Accra chairman of the Ghana Bar Association, the same judiciary that he claims if you criticize, you undermine. He led a boycott against them because somebody who disparaged judges had been cited for contempt and thrown into prison. He boycotted the course of this country for 1 whole month in 1995. Yet, as for us, we can't even raise a whimper against the judiciary. Because why? He is better a human being than us. And then he stands there to pontificate about corruption. He says, President Mama was named in the Airbus matter, he was GO1. Look, he only underscored the uselessness of his government with that statement. You are president of a country, and your predecessor is said to have engaged in corruption. You sit there and look at him. Then you come and stand on a bar association platform to accuse him of wrongdoing. That is uselessness at the highest level. And in any event, was it not the same special prosecutor who called him the mother servant of corruption? So he accepts that he's a mother servant of corruption. Was he not denounced in an Al Jazeera documentary recently as being part of gold smuggling? When that thing happened to the true tantrums that they will sue Al Jazeera. Randy, have they sued Al Jazeera? So if it is merely being named in some international corruption matter that determine one's corruption, what is President Akufo-Addo doing as president? He says that because President Mahama has raised issue with unfair judicial practice and his deliberate packing of the courts with MPP people, President Mahama is dangerous and should not be voted for. Randy, President Akufo-Addo, who formed terrorist groups, Delta forces, invisible forces, border crocodiles, and what have you, and brought mercenaries to train them to assault the pillars of power. Even he was voted for. Ghanaians did not flinch. They didn't mind voting for him. Anybody who compares President Mahama to President Akufo-Addo will see which of them is sober, which of them is reflective, which of them deserves the office of the president. You were formed even in power, whereas he was the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. He was still harboring these terrorists. These terrorists went to attack a court in Kumasi, presided over by a pregnant judge. What did he do? He, the responsible leader, what did he do to those boys? Randy, on the very first day he started working as president in this country, another of his terrorists attacked a senior police officer. Randy, do you know that that gentleman has actually been enlisted in the Ghana Police Service after he assaulted that police? The gentleman who assaulted Nanka Bruce, he is in the Ghana Police Service as I speak to you. This is Akufo-Addo's sense of responsibility. Your office is desecrated and disrespected in this manner. You didn't care. That gentleman is in the police, and you are coming to give President Akufo-Addo, President Mahama lectures on responsibility. Randy, he is president. He says that he is called clearing agent and that there's no basis for it. Randy, let me give you 4 instances why he is clearing agent and more. Look, the Australia visa scandal. Thieves in his government took about 45 journalists to, and you are in the sports fraternity, so I don't need to lecture you on this, posing as journalists, resulting in huge international embarrassment for Ghana. They come back and we are told that an investigation is launched. On the eve of an MPP conference in the Volta region, President Akufo-Addo pronounces that the persons investigated were not guilty, yet he doesn't tell anybody who did it. He doesn't care who the thief in his government who took the people to Australia is. Randy, there was the cash for seed scandal. Parliament was looking into the matter. Before Parliament could even begin the proceedings, he stood at the Flagstaff House and declared Alan Chamantin innocent. I'm not saying that Alan was guilty, but at the very least, he did not allow the committee to finish his work. Randy, the most classic case was the Muvimpina scandal. You are aware that the former energy minister, or the energy minister at the time, Boache Diakon, set up a committee to look into the Movimpiana scandal. You remember? Within days of that, the president broadsided them by purporting that the BNI or National Security had looked into the matter and there was no wrongdoing, so people are cleared. Cecilia Dapa, Andy, let me compare President Mahama to President Akufo-Addo on the matter of corruption. My friend Victoria Hammer merely dreamt of having $1 million. Indeed, to quote her exactly, she said that if she did not have $1 million in her account, she didn't even say she was going to steal. She was not going to antagonize somebody she deemed to be her senior in politics. For saying this, within less than 24 hours, she was dismissed from President Mahama's government. President Akufo-Addo did not dismiss his Dapa when $1 million and more was discovered, or she herself reported that over $1 million and more had been stolen from her house. She didn't dismiss his Dapa. Cecilia Dapa resigned about 2 or 3 days after the matter broke. And what was President Akufo-Addo's response? That he is confident that an investigation will clear her. When you do that, what do you expect the security agencies to do? So, Randy, are you surprised that the special prosecutor has hit a brick wall in that matter? Are you surprised that the special prosecutor has hit a brick wall in that matter? Look at the offensive nepotism that President Akufo-Addo is engaged in this country. You become a president, within days, your daughters, who had no track record of any business, one of them secures the most lucrative shop at the Terminal 3 built by President Mahama overnight. One of them suddenly owns an upscale restaurant in an ultra expensive part of Ghana, Accra, here, overnight. Your cousin, the finance minister, Andy, his own company. I don't want to interject. But let me make my point, please. When I kept quiet. You are not the timekeeper. You are not the timekeeper. You chose to do what you wanted with the time.
I'll just draw your attention that.
What's your problem?
Randy,
what's your problem?
My problem is that he's had more time to this, and the matters that we are not discussing. You are not discussing President Akufo-Addo. There's a specific matter for discussion.
Who made
so if we have to, that is how we are going to go, and we are quiet.
No, did I make the comments?
I just want to draw your attention to it. So if that's the case, let's go.
Did I make the comments?
Now, if President Akufo-Addo's daughters are the subject matter for discussion, we'll begin to discuss families here.
If that is the subject matter,
Randy, I just draw your attention to it. So if that's the subject matter, and you are watching quietly without,
please. Hold on.
So Randy, that's okay.
First of all,
Randy, I said I've just drawn your attention to it.
Would you allow me to speak?
Randy, it's okay. Let's go. If we are discussing daughters of the president, they will discuss daughters and sons of many other people.
I gave you the opportunity to speak on this matter.
But I thought that was a specific matter.
Hold on. You decided to discuss the issue as you deemed fit. I did not stop you from speaking. You decided to speak how you wanted to speak. You finished, and I moved on to Felix. Would you kindly allow him to finish? If he finishes, you have issues to raise, you will be able to raise them.
But I just draw your attention that the daughters of the president... Yeah, I have to. You are a host. And the daughters of the president are not subject matter for a discussion.
Randy, the daughters of President Mahama, President Akufo-Addo, are a legitimate subject for discussion. He is the one talking about corruption. I am examining his credentials. When President Akufo-Addo was in opposition, his daughter did not own the juiciest shop in Terminal 3. It is a fact. His daughter did not own a pricey restaurant. His cousin, whose obscure law firm nobody knew about, suddenly is the lawyer for any and everybody that the government owes and making fat commissions on it. It is a fact that we know. The president's cousin, Ken Ofori-Atta, appointed his own company, offensive nepotism, to broker loans and took commissions. 151 million Ghana cedis is what he earned. It is a legitimate point for discussion. A president who supervises this sort of theft does not have the temerity to come and lecture anybody on corruption. Why? Can't you see President Akufo-Addo? When he was opposition, didn't we see him? When you look at him, don't you see corruption written all over him? Why? Who doesn't know about the role that his brothers are playing in the energy sector of this country? Look at the Gensa deal that we came to discuss, Randy. He is willing to make Ghana lose $1.5 million so that his crony pockets that money. And somebody is coming to lecture us about corruption. Look, it is legitimate. He has been the worst president this country has seen. I have on record to have said that I didn't expect much of him. I didn't think he would make any good president. All the things they were saying about him in opposition was a lie. But in government, he has exceeded even my expectation as the worst we've had. And what he did yesterday at the bar conference is an aberration. It was a disgrace. How do you sit in a country and do this to your own institutions? The Electoral Commission, a commission that is supposed to be a referee between parties contesting elections, you deliberately pluck MPP people to go and helmet. One of them yesterday was on radio claiming that the reason why they have restricted registration to district centers was that voting is not compulsory. Look at the mindset. So they must deliberately stop people from voting because it's not compulsory. What kind of childish mindset is this? And then to make matters worse, against all reason, you go and pick a rabid MPP propagandist and come and make him a commissioner. And you want President Mama to pour flowers on you and pour perfume on you and applaud you. Why? What did President Mama do to even deserve the sort of attacks that came from the MPP? All the lies they told about him, that he owned hotels in Dubai, he did this, he did that. Today, if we subject the properties Akufo-Addo and his family owns, would they pass the test? Would they pass the corruption test? Why are we pretending that all is kosher in this country? What he has done is a disgrace. Look, when President Mahama said that NDC lawyers should avail themselves to train as judges, he was even mild. Look, if President Mahama came and appointed Sami Jemfi, Abbas Nuruddin, Erika J. and Co. to the Supreme Court and elsewhere, he would have done nothing. Because why? Why should we stick with an MPP judiciary? A judiciary in which within 1 week, others who want an injunction get it. Others who want one don't get it. The Chief Justice is, we are told, traveled outside Ghana, so it wasn't available. Meanwhile, we do know that in the absence of the Chief Justice, the most senior Supreme Court judge acts. So even technology allows for the allocation of a judge to a case. That didn't happen. She comes and zooms straight to Cape Coast to the bar conference. That didn't happen. Then the moment the former president complains, suddenly we find a date which is outside of the period of the registration, rendering it moot. Do you need a soothsayer to tell you that there's some manipulation going on? And we cannot say this. Look, Randy, we need to be very clear in this country. No institution will elevate itself above the citizenry. The eminent U.S. jurist, Justice Louis Brandeis, said that sunlight is the best disinfectant. And what makes the matter even more serious is that, Randy, unlike Sly and his colleagues in parliament, or President Akufo-Addo and some of his ministers, who actually are elected, and therefore have, as he began his submission by giving an account of some of the things he's doing in Botswana, it is because there's an impending election. He must account for his stewardship. At the very least, if the people of Botswana don't like him, they will vote against him. So there is some level of accountability. But judges don't have that. When they appoint you as a judge, you only leave when you are 70 unless you commit a stated offense. So there's no level of accountability beyond public scrutiny. And that public scrutiny can never be taken away from the citizenry. I reject this attempt that is made. We make a fetish of our judiciary. And because in the past, some heinous crime was committed against some judges, suddenly we should lose our freedoms. Suddenly we should lose our freedoms. We can no longer comment on the work of judges. We see clear bias, we can't say it. When did we, Randy? So all the fight we made to restore democracy was to result in the submission of our liberties at the altar of a judicial tyranny. Randy, there will be no judicial tyranny in Ghana. Never. We will not stand for it. And I repeat, we will never accept to be second-class citizens or slaves in this country just because we are NDC. The NDC has the same stake in Ghana as Sly, as President Akufo-Addo and his people in the MPP. And if the MPP is treated one way, we should be treated the same way. Otherwise, we will complain. And to conclude, I have said it before in your program, Randy, our voices, they will rise in a jangling discord and pierce their ears. Every day that we feel offended, every day that we feel cheated, every day that we feel hard done by. And nobody can stop us. Nobody will kick us in the groin and ask us to shut up. It will never happen, Randy.
Right. Okay. We'll be back shortly.
today.
Step into success with Accra Business School. Boost your career with a prestigious MSc degrees from KNUST. Pick from Human Resource Management, Communication and International Relations, Public Affairs. In just 12 months, our MBA can be yours. Dive into our BSc programs in IT Security and Cybercrime, IT Management and Business and Management, endorsed by top universities in Ireland and Wales. We offer flexible entry, payment and learning options. It's time to unlock your potential and take flight. Visit www.abs.edu.gh or dial 0263 888 555. Let Accra Business School elevate your future today.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say, but as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
Betway is your gateway to a theme park full of gaming excitement. A whirlpool of wonder where your favorite games come to life. Where you can take to the skies with max payouts that reach into the millions. All in the palm of your hand. Visit betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Bet responsibly. Betway. Bet your way.
My name is John, and this is my long-time crush, my cookie dipped in strawberry yogurt. On this scorching hot afternoon on our way back from a long job hunt, we met this good Samaritan who offered us 6 weeks later.
A special wedding reception for our bride and groom.
And there she is, my cookie, dipped in someone else's yogurt.
Who holds the moolah, holds the shots. Play game by games, the easiest lottery to play and win. Big phone numbers from 0 to 9 up to 3 times daily to become one of our daily lucky winners. Dial *946# to play now, or you can also play online at www.gameparkgames.com. Game Park is regulated by the National Lottery Authority.
In life, choice is good, but choice plus safety is way better. Your safety and comfort is paramount. Under the cylinder recirculation model, you can buy LPG in a safe environment. All cylinders are inspected and maintained to the best safety standards, so your safety is assured. Just take your empty cylinder to the nearest exchange point and swap it for a filled cylinder. Different cylinder sizes will be available to meet your pocket size. Imagine cooking in a smoke-free environment. This will improve the health and well-being of you and your family. Choose LPG in a safer model of distribution. Cylinder recirculation model, securing your safety, creating more jobs. A message from the National Petroleum Authority under the patronage of the Ministry of Energy.
Say, you see the cashless. Say, cashless here. You say, you can be a office. You see the power up back. And also, another will be beer. Set up auto credit. Set up auto credit and no one issue. So, what problem be a person using for after he answer over power up. So, and one on the two assembly up. So, only smartphone and money how. And there's only data and so and it's you will bring. And one said, who bring your young phone. Oh, sorry. Who bring your phone. No one direct star 226 hash. You are through there. You see the power up no mobile money, Visa card, MasterCard, a BH you let me see you see the power up. What want to show a down some simple
to the claims of extortion against the then trade. The debate on standards and integrity in public life has centered largely on the fight against corruption and whether or not this president and his government are doing enough to combat this cancer.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Still with me on the show are Felix Kwachofosu and Sylvester Tete, the Honorable Member of Parliament. Now, Black Star Press Limited is the latest printing press facility in Ghana with a state-of-the-art equipment to help you grow your business. We'll help you to invent the beauty, diversity, and natural wonder with your works. Black Star Press is the printing press you need to get all your unique jobs done on time with perfection. Black Star Press is associated with the Lionhead Group of companies with a worldwide reputation for quality printing. You can reach the Black Star Press Limited on 0200-880-000 for your orders. At Black Star Press Limited, we print everything printable except money. And the Makers Electronics Company Limited reminds you once again that its Blessing Attack promo is on, and there are discounts of up to 67% on selected appliances. So rush to the Makers Electronics Company Limited for appliances from brands such as Samsung, LG Moved, NASCO, TCL, Media, and Toshiba. These are quality but affordable appliances with 2 years manufacturer defect warranty. You can visit the showrooms of the Makers Electronics Company Limited at Taifa Burkina Highway, Amasaman Zongo Junction, Oyarifa Tem and Boga Junction, Kaswa New Market, Ashaman Vako Flat, Kumasi Ahinima Kokobin, Takrade Fiekuma No. 9 Market, or you can reach the Makers Electronics Company Limited on 055-222-2253 or 055-222-2254. The Makers Electronics Company Limited, large and in charge with quality but affordable home appliances and consumer electronics. Terms and conditions do apply. Sly, let me hear you.
I'm scandalized and seriously disappointed in the tangent Felix sought to have his conversation this morning, and we must be careful. All the things he said, there are no basis or fact supporting any of the things he says. If what we come here to say or do is on the mere basis of allegations and speculations, then this country has a lot to contend with. And Felix is seeking to come to Parliament. If he succeeds, he will be in Parliament. And I'm sure that he has to look at the way he communicates. I sought to draw your attention to the fact that the daughters of the president are not subject matter for our conversation. And unfortunately, you did not do anything about it. And I think that this is not how we want our politics to go. He's named 5 justices of the bench, having said that they are MPP and have shown MPP colors. Randy, from the High Court to the Supreme Court, I'm sure we'll have not less than 500 judges in this country. And they can point to 5 or so of them alleging to be MPP members. I mean, he said that only one has admitted that he's an MPP member. And if that is the way we want to go, I think that he also said that there's no room for accountability for judges until they retire from the bench. I also think it's unfortunate and it's not true. The work the judges do in this country, there's consistent room for appraisal and accountability. Even those that they dispense justice to has a right to scrutinize. That is why there's always an appellate body of your decision. If you are not satisfied with the decision of a High Court judge, you go to appeals court and it goes on to the Supreme Court. Even the Supreme Court, you have a review. And I think that is not the way we want to run down. You've taken 5 people out of our 300 or so, I don't know the numbers, from the High Court to the Supreme Court. That you say 5 people, on the basis of that, the entire judicial system should be run amok. So when it comes, the number of people he's mentioned are the people President Mahama, in unlikely event that he wins the next election, he's coming to equal. And that will bring the sanity they are seeking in the Supreme Court. The system that is run in this country has mechanisms to correct and check. You're citing Kennedy Japan for the fact that he made an appeal, and the appeal was granted. I'm not sure that every appeal made by any MPP member, for that matter, had been granted by the court. We've seen many judgments from the court that are not in favor of the MPP. You are talking of Opuni. There are many decisions of the same judge or various courts that goes or went in the favor of Opuni in this country. But we took them in good faith. What do? You move on. That is the justice system we run. If you bring in the president's daughters, that she owns a restaurant and she owns a shop at the airport built by former President Mahama. Randy, I'm not too sure that the restaurant the lady owns, she's not of age to own that restaurant. You should be able to go further, that he has stolen money. If we sit here on the basis of conjecture, somebody can look at you, Felix, and make allegations against you. When former President Rawlings made that allegations against you, you were everywhere crying that is not true. You were everywhere crying that is not true. I thought it was unfortunate because he could not provide any basis for saying that. But you sit here and run somebody's integrity down by the fact that by mere fact that the father is a president. So for that reason, the person cannot do anything for himself. People can measure you by the same yardstick. And today, go to your background and see when you became a minister and where you are today. So we shouldn't be doing this politics unless you have a basis. So if President Akufo-Addo has made a statement and you want to deal with the statement, why bring the daughters in this matter? You are referring to things they said about former President Mahama and his family that you are not happy about. So you have to continue that tangent. I'm restraining not to go into some private matters that I also know. So if you want to go that tangent, we sit on radio and do these things and TV. I think it's most unfortunate. And we must be careful that as you seek to hold public office, you will also be judged with the same yardstick. Because all the things you said are mere conjecturing. You don't have any iota of evidence to back any of the things you are saying. But when it was about you, you called former president, may he so rest in peace, Rawlings names. You called him names left, right, center because it's you. You felt it. But what about the person, an innocent person you are running down on your show this morning because she owns a restaurant? How did she come about the restaurant? Right to information bill. Right to information is available. You can seek the information on the process of acquisition and all that, any information you want. If you have done that and you come back to say that this is information I have, then you'll be able to make the claims you are making. But if you are discussing the president, you can discuss the president. The issue of clearance, as we're talking about, I mean, Randy, you are in that space, the football space. We know many allegations. Look, what the president do about Cecilia Dapa's matter? He says you are going to face investigations, and I hope that you come out clean. What is wrong with that? The president did not stop the investigation. The investigations are ongoing. The investigations, the issue of the special prosecutor, the law that the special prosecutor, the powers that he has, that clothed him, that same powers clothe a private individual, that the way the special prosecutor must act. So the special prosecutor is supposed to go to court 7 days after Caesar and go and get confirmation, and you fail to go. That same court will deny you the right to hold on to the seizure you've made. So you, at one breath, want to use the law. The law turns against you, then you are crying foul. There are so many things. Look, really, this limited registration, as it were, I've said that the operational roadmap the EC put out. Today, I may not have a problem. Even Greater Accra, there are constituencies that will have a huge challenge. And it's not an operational plan map out for the NDC alone. That is why when they are crying, it looks as if there's been deliberate attempt to disenfranchise NDC members. That is not the case. So if you are making the case, only I can count more than 100 constituencies that at least one traveling from one end to the district center will spend no less than 100 cedis to access the district center. So it's a cost to young people or people first-time voter registrants. So we should look at it, not make one fit for all regulations for the registration. There are constituencies that we can actually do a movement plan. So you don't need to employ more people, but if you are at the district office for 10 days, you can move to some electoral areas, at least 5 days, 2 days, 3 days, to be able to make up for the period for those transportation arrangements. I've said that publicly. I'm an MPP person. So if the EC has done something, and you are mentioning people, all the people you have mentioned here today, Catherine and Co at the EC, put their work. What have they done that you think by basis of the fact that they are MPP? In any case, you are saying that President Mahama's Facebook post had compelled the Chief Justice to give a date for the hearing. Is it not the same NDC that they are in court today? The Chikwesen is in court, Honorable Chikwesen is in court, and is supposed to appear before court every day. They are crying that the haste with which they are dealing with the case will affect justice delivery. Now they are talking about justice delayed, justice denied. And that's the hypocrisy of their stance on matters of this nature. Yes, if you think that you went to court, the Chief Justice is not in. You're making a legitimate point that in the rules of procedure, at least a senior Supreme Court judge should be made to act. And that will even come on instructions of the Chief Justice. So I'm not sure the registrar has heard if he's not heard from the Chief Justice. You can make that point. But to say that is the MPP and Akufo-Addo deliberately trying to gag. I mean, when you go to court, what does it take from you? Or does it add to the MPP? It takes nothing from us. If today the court determines or put an injunction on it, it is for all of us. All of us, me. I have people in my constituency who will be registering today. You think when there's an injunction, it will affect only NDC people or it will not your benefit in the elections? No. We all speak about the processes, the institutions we have. But you should not make it MPP as if the MPP is the controlling mind of the institutions of state. Maybe you were doing that when you were in power. Maybe you were doing that when you were in power. So I have had cause to complain about some institutions of this country rendering service to all of us. We have a right to challenge it. But to say that you speak, you make noise and all that, I mean, it's your right to speak, it's your right to make noise. But that will not also deter state institutions from undertaking their legitimate duties, as it were. So please, my plea this morning is that when you castigate and cast innuendos at people and make allegations without basis, be mindful that you had suffered that before, and one would have thought you would have learned from it. If I sit here today and make allegations, false allegations about you, about properties you own and all that, you see how uncomfortable you'll be. But that is not the way we want to go. If you think somebody has acquired the property illegally, you have a right, you have a voice. You don't need to make allegations without basis. Proceed to the court, report to the special prosecutor, report to SFO, let the institution of state investigate and be the complainant. Charge is available. But we don't do any of these things. We come and sit here and cast allegations at people and think that that will win the elections. It's the most unfortunate thing to say or to do. And I think that our politics, if this is the way our politics will only thrive, is this not same NDC in a run up to 2008 elections said that the current General Secretary of the NDC, that the gold reserves of this country had been stolen by the President Kufuor and his administration, to the extent that the reserves of the central bank are less than the monies owed by NPP gurus in this country. And they were pointing to Prudential Bank, where Prudential Bank did not have a 0.5% of the kind of allegations they were making, attaching huge sums of money to leading members of the NPP in this country. It's the same thing they are trying to do today. What happened? When he had the opportunity to appear before the Parliamentary Select Committee, when he was being vetted for Deputy Minister, what did he say? He said all those things he said were mere political talk. It's the same thing you are trying to do. This old age strategy to win political power will not thrive in 2024. Let's deal with the issues. Bringing in innocent people. The daughters of the president, are they not old enough to own businesses? So you can question whether or not the business they own, they've acquired it illegally. We've discussed this, and it was the same Felix I discussed this with, saying that the location of the property crime, that Akufo-Addo's daughter do not deserve to own such a property because his father is the president. Have you found out how? The same thing. President Kufuor's son, when he went to bank to get a facility to own the property, they took to the street because it's President Kufuor, but there are families and relations of former leaders of this country and even leading members of a government who own plush properties in this country. But if this is what we want to do to ourselves as a country, it's most unfortunate. We must be speaking with some credibility. But if we go pedestrian and all we say is make allegations about people and demonize them before the eyes of the good people of this country, then you are not doing anything. Maybe in unlikely events you also have power. The table turns and you could become another spotlight. It's the most unfortunate thing to do to ourselves as the people of this country. So I want to see that these judges that is mentioned them, they've delivered any judgment that is not inconsistent with the court or the rules of this country. Let's criticize it. We've had judgment that has been criticized. We have judgment that appellate court has turned them. So these are things on which you can say. But for saying that is an NPP person, we've had members of parliament served under the NDC. We had parliamentary candidates. We had NDC apparatchiks who were equally appointed. We have the list. But we don't want to go into that tangent because they've moved on. They've been appointed to the bench. And you should look at their work. If their work does not sit well with us, or nobody has impugned whether or not they are qualified or otherwise, I mean, you can make all these allegations, but they have not delivered any justice to say that this is an NPP ruling. If you have any cause to believe that this is an NPP ruling, you go to the appellate court and go and seek justice. And it's been granted on many occasions. Look, the judges, when they were in power, they were going to court. The same judges they thought they had them on their side. On the face of the evidence, it turned out that they were losing most of the cases. That is why they were so frustrated that their former chairman had to say, there are so many ways to kill a cat and all that. So you've had the penchant of attacking the judiciary anytime a judgment does not go in your favor. And that's the kind of culture you have built for yourself over time. We must be careful and wary about some of these things. Otherwise, we can never build a society. But I'm looking for the day that will put a judge on the spotlight on the basis of his work, not the basis of where he's coming from. If it's on the basis of where he's coming from, then you've had people coming from your stock. You've had people that had been on your campaign platform. You had people that have served your party to the extent that they ran for elections and they had been appointed. So put that aside. Look at the competence of the person that has been appointed to the position and their work. Let's put the work under the microscope and scrutinize it. Until then, I don't think it will be fair to the good people. It will be fair to our viewers that you come and sit here that this Akufo-Addo has packed. So when I come, I'll wait. Okay, like you are saying, Sami Jemfi, and then you have them. Bring them to the bench. And let Sami Jemfi, as a lawyer, sit on the bench. The law is black and white. He may even rule against you and you'll be disappointed. So it doesn't work like that. So you can bring all your NDC lawyers and put them in the bench. You can even retire all of them if you so wish. Retire them. Retire all of them and bring all NDC judges to the bench. And when you go to the court, you will still lose the cases if you don't have evidence. You just go to court, just as you went to the election petition. Now your own people are telling you, you deceived all of us by going to court on the basis that you want the court to pronounce a judgment for you when you don't have any evidence. It was so evident. So by going to court, you can have your own wife. You have your wife in court. You have your family in court, sitting at the bench. If you fail to adduce evidence to support your case, you will lose it. So if that is how it's going, for me, I think that on this limited registration, I'm on that. I've said on many platforms that the EC must make provision for overseas constituencies that people have to travel long distances to come. I'm told that the EC can do maximum of 200 at least a day. So
200 what?
200 registrants could go through. Persons can go through a day.
Per center.
Per center, per district. So assuming you go to a particular district, people have to travel far. By the time they get there, people go there and queue. So the person comes, maybe it's 200 plus, and they are not able to. There could be technical or operational hitches that may not even get to the 200. So assuming you have 300, 400 people at the center, and most of these people are coming from the overseas, they don't get the opportunity to register. Rotate? That's the point I'm making, that they can rotate. The EC is looking at the timeline that before any election, 60 days before the elections.
But within the same period, let's even say
they can rotate.
They are doing 12 days.
They can rotate.
Yeah,
you can do 10 days, it's 21 days. Do 10 days at the center. Yeah. Then you are portion times to go to some electoral areas that are far and make the announcement. People will meet you there, do the registration. I don't see why we should do this to ourselves. And I've made that point one too many. That there are constituencies that I know is going to pose a huge burden to leaders, political parties in those constituencies, traveling, the inconvenience, where they come, they are not able to do it. It will be chaotic in certain places. At least my place, people can walk to the center, and those who cannot even want to pick a car, in 10 minutes or so, you get back to your house. So that might not be so much of a problem. But those constituencies that people have to travel overnight to access the district capital, in an event that the person did not get the opportunity to register, the person is going to go back and come back again.
Let's just speak your mind on something, and Felix, you can also take note of that. I've just seen this post by Dr. Mani Buama. It says the EC is insisting that because the online registration directly enters the national database, they cannot print start-of-day records at the various registration centers. This is unacceptable. And then he goes on to say, if the EC still insists they cannot give you start-of-day report for accountability, take the serial number of the first form 1A, issued for the first person to be registered. Treat it as important and urgent while we resolve it.
Yes, of course.
You have been involved in elections.
Yes, I don't know why the start-of-day cannot be given. Previous registrations, we had a start-of-day.
What's important about that?
No, important is that for accountability, so you can know the center, how many people have registered. Because when you go and you start of day, it's 0.
Okay.
At the end of the day, you can tell that 99 people, 100 people.
So there's start of day and there's close of day.
Exactly.
Then the following day, the close of day becomes start of day.
Exactly. So it goes on. So it's easy to be able to assess it. But I'm sure they had explained well. And that's why he's saying that the Form A, the serial number of the Form A should
Form
be
1A.
Form 1A
yes.
should be taken note of. So I'd be that manually, if your agent is good, yes. By the time you finish, the agent should be able to have his tally right. Okay. And if the agent, you see, the only way you can detect anomalies is that if the agent does his work so well and knows that we have 160 people and the printout brings less than that or more, yes. Then they begin to find out where the problem is coming from. They correct it. Right. On many occasions, they've had this collaboration, they'll be able to correct it. The essence of all this is for credible electoral process. And it's even in the best interest of the EC to be able to listen to some of these concerns and be able to work towards it. I believe that in Accra, certain places, you don't need that. Part of Kumasi, the urban areas, you don't need that. So not one fit for all purpose.
Right.
So they should be able to work on constituencies that are not like Accra, Temas, and the rest to be able to assist so that we have a smooth registration.
Okay.
If I'm in those constituencies, obviously, there are MPP, MPs and candidates, potential candidates who also suffer the same thing. And not only the candidate or aspirant, but the people who are going to register. Obviously, somebody has to spend 300 Ghana cedi in and out to go and register. What is the essence of the person going to register? Not that the person is not willing to register, but obviously the cost will deter the person from going to register. And these are things that the EC itself must look at it. A device means to rotate in certain areas that the people cannot easily access the district capitals.
Okay.
Randy,
yes.
You know, Sly has said many things. He says that we should make sure that everything we see in relation to corruption about individuals is steeped in fact. And for the record, there is nothing that I have said here that is not factual. But let me put his commitment to that principle to the test. You see, on the 9th of March 2014, my friend Sly made the following post on Facebook. Whoever hates corruption must speak against the President John Dramani Mahama. He is an embodiment, epitome of corruption, period. We are tired. More scandals soon. Why? What had President Mahama done to deserve this attack from Sly? Yet you attacked him and said all manner of things about him. Yesterday, President Akufo-Addo mentioned the Airbus matter. This is a matter that they contrived in 2020 as part of an effort to sully the reputation of President Mahama. Randy, if there was anything in this Airbus matter, are you sure that this rambunctious Attorney General, who even fights school children to prevent them from gaining admission into schools, he will not have taken President Mahama on? It is an empty, false narrative. But the president of the land chose to throw it in a bid to attack his opponent. So why is Sly here saying that as for us in the opposition, we should not mention corruption in relation to Akufo-Addo?
No,
Randy, number two.
Randy,
no. Let me make it clear.
We don't do respect. I didn't say that. We don't do respect. I didn't say that.
I did not.
Is this keep the children out?
Randy, no.
Especially when there's no evidence to suggest that
they are not. The two ladies are not children.
The president's children.
No, Randy, listen to the point I'm making. First of all,
Felix.
Let me make my point, please. First of all,
I didn't say what you're attributing to me.
Randy,
on the
please.
point of order, I have a right to say so.
Randy, please. First of all, I have held President Akufo-Addo strictly to his own commitments to the people of Ghana in 2016.
Right.
Look, on the 17th of January, 2016, he stood at the Kumasi Sports Stadium when the MPP was having one of their conferences and said that he will not run a family and friends government and that his wife will not distribute government contracts, which was a thinly veiled attack on Mrs. Rodina Mahama at the time, because the MPP had gone around claiming, rather falsely, that she was sharing contracts in government. When you make that commitment and you come to power, and we see you practice nepotism in the manner that President Akufo-Addo is doing, you deserve to be upbraided and questioned. Randy, I am making the point that when you are president and you get a juicy spot in the nation's airport terminal for your daughter, who in previous life had not shown similar capacity, there is a question to be answered. Why? When you were attacking Rodina Mahama, what was President Akufo-Addo thinking? That as for President Mahama and his wife, blood didn't run through their veins. Randy, when your father, look, when President Akufo-Addo was a leading figure in the NPP in the 90s, Randy, did they not question how President Rawlings paid his children's fees? You've forgotten that. Even the fees for President Mahama's children was questioned. Today we are told that as for President President Rawlings, they questioned how President Rawlings, a whole president of a country, they said he couldn't pay the fees of his daughter. And he was only able to pay through the process of corruption. Randy, did they not say this in this country? So why does President Akufo-Addo want immunity from the scrutiny of his children? What does it take us for? Randy, when you come to power, okay, and let me make it clear, I have absolutely nothing against the young ladies who are President Akufo-Addo's children. Nothing.
You do?
No. Why? No. Listen, I have nothing against them. No. Randy, I am questioning. Randy, look. You have. It is legitimate.
It is not.
To question how. Look, there's something called political.
So when former President Rawlings attacked you, it was principle.
Listen, Randy. I have set a premise that the MPP, of which President Akufo-Addo was a leading figure, questioned how a president paid his children's fees. Okay. So if I question how the daughter of a president with no prior record of business immediately comes about to own such expensive property, it is legitimate. President Akufo-Addo himself raised that issue in 2016, questioning how the wife of a president was alleged to be sharing contracts. Look, and when President Akufo-Addo became president, we have seen the level of nepotism he's practiced. Surrounded himself in government with relatives. This is something that he questioned when he was an opposition leader. So it is legitimate. Slide again. Randy, let me read you another thing. On 29th August 2013, I beg your pardon, let me make the point. On 29th August 2013, on the day that the Supreme Court ruled in the election petition in favor of President Mahama, Slide wrote, "Justice for sale." In effect, we were accusing the Supreme Court of taking money to rule in President Mahama's favor. Today, you say we should not question them, and if we do, we undermine the institution. So you were right. Let me make. Why you keep interrupting me? You said so many things. You mentioned my name. You said I didn't say anything. Randy, you said justice for sale. Yes. You accused the Supreme Court of taking money from President Mahama and delivering judgment in his favor. Yet today, you say we should not mention glaring instances of unfairness. And you see, it is instructive that you raise the Jachikwesin case. Randy, that is yet one more example of the grievance that I have. A man was going to contest elections. Indeed, we were left with about 2 weeks to the election. You bring a case against him. You know fully well that this man needs to campaign in the period because he's contesting the election. You know fully well too that the case was not going to be completed in those 2 weeks. Yet a court ruled that he should come to court every day, which directly then was going to prevent him from campaigning. Randy, which do you need a soothsayer to say that, to tell you that this is unfair? And that it is not fair to Judge Kwesi, it is not fair to the NDC, which was a party in that election. And yet we are told that we cannot question this. And that if we do so, we are undermining the judiciary. Randy, all arms of government are accountable. And for the avoidance of doubt, I did not say that judges cannot be held accountable until they retire. What I said is that unlike Sly and his colleagues in parliament and the president and others in government, in the executive, who face periodic election, which is perhaps the ultimate form of accountability in public life, judges don't have that. They are appointed at the behest of somebody. And as for some of them, they cannot even be removed if the person is unhappy. If Sly once served as deputy minister, if I'm not mistaken, or you've served in government before, if President Akufo-Addo was unhappy about your performance, all he needed to do was to pick his green pen and cancel out your name, and an announcement we made that you'll be removed. It's a form of accountability. It is a response to perceived wrongdoing or perceived inability to discharge your role to the satisfaction of the president. But Randy, who does that to a judge? He speaks about internal accountability mechanism. Randy, that is not enough, because the tendency really is for the institution to protect its own image.
Wow.
These are important matters. The reason why external scrutiny is important is that it keeps you in check. You see, when you are a judge and you rule a certain way and your rulings are torn apart, you are criticized. It serves as a lane. Next time you are going to rule, you make sure that you cross all the T's and dot the I's.
Are done in law schools every
Absolutely.
day.
And the public, Randy, reserves the right to express disagreement strongly. Look, the disagreement can be mild, it can be harsh. But whether mild or harsh, justices must subject themselves to that scrutiny.
In recent times, I refer people to the forum that was organized, I think at the National Theatre also, after the Supreme Court 2012 election petition.
Exactly.
Where you had people from both Ghana and outside Ghana come and scrutinize the decision of the judges.
It is allowed. Randy, the criticism may even be uninformed. It may have no basis. But by God, everybody in Ghana must accept. You see, we are getting to a situation where the moment you even mention the judiciary, people create the impression that the walls of the judiciary are going to crumble because you've done that. I am saying that the president, members of parliament, judges must accept that the people of Ghana have a right to take umbrage at their work and sleep freely. If we can't do that, then this is not a democracy. It is a tyranny of some sort. And if executive tyranny is not acceptable, judicial tyranny too is not acceptable. So this attempt that they make every time, and the Ghana Bar Association is the guiltiest. Every 30th June, they hold a ritual and create the impression that because of an unfortunate dastardly incident 40 years ago, suddenly we should lose our rights to criticize judges. And if we do so because we want to destroy them. No way. Look, I have mentioned 6 people here, but the list is tall. We know. Let nobody pretend that we are children. And you see, you can have all the qualifications in the world, because Randy, there are any number of legal experts in Ghana. Why? Justice Yoni Kulendi Randy. Everybody knows his relationship with President Akufo-Addo, but who can question his seat on the Supreme Court? He brings gravitas and weight and heft to the position. Justice Henrietta Mensah Bonsu, who can question her gravitas? Justice Ashi Kote, who can question her gravitas? And Almegache, everybody knows his long-standing relationship with President Akufo-Addo and his involvement in MPP matters. But who can question his gravitas and weight? The people I've mentioned here, with the greatest respect to them, do not meet the criteria because of their active involvement in politics.
By your former MPs.
No, listen to the point. Randy, if I send you the video of Solomon Trimesi sitting in an FM station in Kumasi, strongly disparaging President Mahama, how do you expect that such a person, when a case of political magnitude with the MPP having interest is going to discharge? In fact, you will even not be fair to him. Randy, in this country, at the very least, through analysis work, we have seen that ordinary members of the public who have some money, okay, were able to use yams, tubers of yams, goats, and small amounts of money to influence judges. Yet we are being told that the president of the country, who has appointed MPP people, cannot lean on them to do one thing or the other, and that there's insulation. And ordinary people can walk to judges and give them tubers of yam, and because of that, they will write judgments in their favor. But a whole president with the state machinery at his disposal and vast resources and power cannot lean on MPP judges. Look, let us stop pretending. Okay? The key, Randy, is impartiality. When I go to court, I may win or I may lose. But when I lose, I should not have the feeling that I lost because of external interest in that case. And the moment you put a partisan judge on the bench, that thing is inevitable. It will permanently be associated with the person. So there are many practicing lawyers who do not have political coloration, who President Akufo-Addo can appoint. But when he chooses to appoint these people who are politically colored, it raises issues. And Randy, it is not just the appointment. I have gone through several cases.
We need to go.
Randy, explain to me, before I end, explain to me how acceptable it is that in one case that the MPP has interest, when the minority rejected the budget, within days that matter was dispensed, so the MPP could come back to purport to overturn. But when the minority files a suit on the same case and demands that what they did was illegal, that one has stayed there for 2 years without mention. Explain to me.
Randy, before we go, I have to place on record.
Just in a minute.
Just in a minute.
But I need to ask
that I did not say Felix should not talk about the president and the things he said. But I said, take out the daughters from it.
You see,
Please,
you must place even that.
take them out from
okay,
this.
So
that's the point.
So I cannot question.
I cannot leave here without asking this question.
Which is that?
I want to know the future of my brother, my younger brother Sly, and
Randy,
the Honorable Alan Chiremantin, since he has announced his withdrawal.
Randy, let me add an addendum to the question.
Yes.
But there are reports that Asamoah is lazy.
You are late. You are late. You are late in the wonderland. You are late in the
Asamoah told me after the issue came up. Asamoah told me he wasn't interested.
So it's not okay.
Asamoah told me. He told me himself.
Okay. That's why he's a good friend of mine. It's not happening.
You are going to be hot.
Randy, look, Alan has since withdrawn from the race, and I've made a number of pronouncements that, Randy, we need the MPP stronger than before. Alan remains a member of the party. He has not decided what he's going to do otherwise. But my commitment is to the MPP party, and I'll continue to work for the MPP to ensure that we retain power in 2024. And now we have 4 people contesting in the elections, November 4th. I have a vote, I'm a delegate. I have supporters, I have followers in my constituency. Randy, I've engaged extensively within and outside my constituency. And I believe that it is proper that the MPP come around the flag. And the most important thing for us now, if Alan were to be in the race, obviously it's my choice. He's no more in the race. I have to make a choice. And that determination...
But are you still in touch with him?
Yes, I am.
Is he going to run as any independent candidate?
No, he has not discussed that with me. Okay. As far as I'm concerned.
He has no intentions of running?
No, he has not discussed that.
He has no intentions of leaving the party?
He has not discussed that with me.
Okay.
So for me, Randy, 4th November, what I will say this morning is that MPP, we've come a very long way. And I think that it is obvious from the campaigns we've waged and what is happening today. I've engaged extensively my constituency executives, people within and without. I think that I'm making a firm commitment that will support Dr. Bawumia for the November 4th elections. And I believe that...
You will support Dr. Bawumia?
Yes, I believe that he will make a good president. I've said that
so before. Sly is moved on from...
Alan is not
Alan
in the race. He's not in the race.
Yes.
And I have to make a choice. Okay. I have to move on. The party has to move on. He's
so
not.
Dr. Bawumia is now your...
Of course. And candidate. I think that, yeah, from the look of things, he will make a better president. And all of them, anybody who wins will make a better president than John Mahama. Okay. And I think that under the circumstances, we should all rally behind Dr. Bawumia for 2024.
All right.
Randy, you see,
you have just 30 seconds.
All right.
Oh, what are you going to say?
Randy,
what are you going to say?
With the greatest respect to Dr. Bawumia, even I will make a better president than him.
Okay, all right. Okay. Look. I need to do this before we go. I say you give honor to whom honor is due. Today is the birthday somebody who's greatly admired, has done extremely well, especially in the area of business and entrepreneurship. One of the people who really demonstrated that it is possible. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the age. It doesn't matter the time. And I admire him for that tenacity. And if there is any ambassador as far as adult education is concerned, and of course fulfilling a dream, irrespective of whether you need a certificate or not, is this man, Mr. Kwabena Kesi, popularly known as Kesben. He's a legal practitioner. Now, yes, he's a lawyer. Today is his birthday. Today is his birthday, so happy birthday to you, Mr. Kwabena Kesi, popularly known as Kesben. Happy birthday. I remember all the times seeing him lock himself up at Asida House for 3 days studying because he has exams, when he was actually doing a first degree, when he had all those businesses and all that wealth under his sleeves, but he still decided to go to school, get educated, and today he's a lawyer. Wow. Yes. And he's been a lawyer for I think 3 or 4 years. Okay. So happy birthday to you, Mr. Kwabena Kesi, popularly known as Kesben. And he shares this birthday with the Honorable Alhassan Suhini MP for Tamale North. Today is your birthday. Oh, happy birthday to you. Yes, happy birthday to
Azizi
you.
Power. That's what he's known as.
Yes, Honorable Alhassan Suhini. Happy birthday to you. And today is also a birthday of a friend of mine. He's a retired conference officer of the UN. And he's here in Accra with us now. He's left Switzerland now. Edward Netemabo. Today is your birthday. So happy birthday to you as well.
Mr. Philippacha sends his regards.
Okay. Yes. Philippacha, how's it?
Oh, he's doing well.
Okay.
You know, he's also a chief.
Yeah.
In a sense of yes.
Yeah. True. So happy birthday, Mr. Kwabena Kesi. Happy birthday, Honorable Alhassan Suhini. Happy birthday, Edward Netemabo. Happy birthday to all of you. Up next, GMG Trends.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
Are you ready?
Yamawako aba the ba Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories. Ahadie e ba no ka siesie ne ho aka dia. Ubenya bibie bi wa ha. Ka bia ne how ene ne ohia. Yenso ye wo ho animdefo a obeso anu yi ama. Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories ye dwumedie die. Eye 24/7 o. Ye siesie wo engine, wo brake, battery, yesesa wo tire. Se ba no car wash dia. Ye wo abefun fidie bi ti se steamer ye de horo car engine abra nsuo nko engine nim. Ye san ye detailing metre se ye betwetwe car no mu ba bia ma o. Ye wi a ya san polish car na ma o kama. Enye we no monko ye san to car batteries, tires, rims, any de keke kan. Manadum Auto Fix and Accessories ema wo car ensi ne dedem na enwu adwuma ma o. Hwehwe ye chira kwan wo dansuma na sorry dan ho a ene KFC bon hwani mu e won kran. Se wo information anansem bi se bia 024-651-9369. Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories. My
son, there's more blessing in giving than receiving. When you fear for you and couple the makers in
The pneumatological aberration of the Lord revealed unto me this night that me and my household should go out into the world and bless the world.
Makers Electronics Company Limited. I'm up to 67% discount. Our selected appliances.
This is what I call quintessential immaculatability.
The Makers Electronics Company Limited. Ewo Taifa Burkina Highway. Amasa Zongo Junction. Edike Pharmacy Dining. Oyer Fateman Boga Junction. Ashaman Valco Flat. Kumasi. Ahinema Kokobin. Asafu Bwachi Hospital Junction. Sakrani. Number 9 Market.
Tell mom and dad about the Makers Blessing Attack program.
From 0552 222 253 and 0552 222 254. Terms and conditions apply. The same got to moon.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Time to check out what is trending on social media with Desi. Let's start with. Good morning, Desi.
Good morning, Doc.
What's going on?
Quite a number of things going on. Our governor is trending. The Ghana Bar Association is also trending, and so we'll get into the details. And so let's get into that on Twitter. Always you can join in. The hashtag is Good Morning Ghana on Twitter or GMG or Twitter as at Metro TV. Prince Henry says that year of roadster and year of audios. Year of roadster, year of audios. Hey, hashtag Good Morning Ghana. Let's move on to the next one that is coming. That's a very interesting one from Prince Henry. Then we're moving on to the next tweet. Okay. I guess I'll just do that from here. I just read a few of the messages that we have here that have come in this morning on the show. This one, Mohammed Hamza says, I can't think far and I cannot understand. Madam Jean-Mensa, what at all do you stand to lose if you extend the limited registration to various voting centers? What at all Are you up to? Okay, and Maxwell probably says, is it true that the CJ said that as long as she remains the CJ, the NDC cannot win any court case? It is just a question. I don't know about that. Doc, did she ever say that?
Never heard her say that.
Okay. All right, moving on. Lottie Jones says that what Nanado... okay, I don't seem to understand that really well. Okay, this one says that this institution is the most corrupt because you mounted a platform and... okay, so Wages Osei Alimbo says that Felix is emotional just because the ex-president was touched. Mahama made a reckless statement and has retracted the response from Akufo-Addo. That's from Wages Osei Alimbo on Facebook. So those are some of the messages that have come in. Let's move on and talk about the Ghana Bar Association, because over the weekend they have a conference in Cape Coast, my darling school, UCC, and a lot of issues have popped up from it, especially the one about the president using the platform, to jab his opponent and all that. And a lot of people have been writing about it on Twitter. So let's get into the details of that this morning. Okay. So what you see on your screen right now is rather about Ama Governor, and this young lady has been on social media. Now back to the conference. So this one says the president and his attorney general once again used the Ghana Bar Association conference to campaign against John Mahama, and that is from Franklin Kujo writing that on Twitter. We're moving on. Felix, who just says that the NPP legal wing, also known as the Ghana Bar Association, there. And moving on to the next message. This one says that the Ghana Bar Association has criticized the president for using their conference platform to campaign against the former president, John Mahama. So those are some of the things people are saying about the Bar Association, that it has been, they allow the president to use their platform and all that. Anyway, still on the Ghana Bar Association, and that links to Ama Governor, because we are talking about the situation with respect to her being called to the bar. Now, that statement, as you see on the screen, says that, it had been to the disciplinary committee, they had talked about it, and of course, she, the applicant, would be looked at in the case that she would have to make sure that she observes, or she's able to, what's the word to use? I'm trying to get the right word. That she should be of good behavior, yes, as she's being prepared to call to the bar.
So have they called her, or they're calling her to the bar?
They are in the process of calling.
Yeah, they should just do it.
Yeah,
I think that she deserves to be called, but I also think that we all need to be a bit careful. Yeah, because professions have their own code of ethics and all those things. You can disagree with them, but until things change, it is what it is. And so if you want to join, you must also be mindful.
Be mindful of what?
Although I think that maybe there's a need to take a second look at those things, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
And if you want to join, you need to be mindful of those things. But I'm happy. I'm very happy that at least she's going to get the opportunity of practicing as a lawyer. I think that if you look at what transpired during her professional course, it's pretty obvious that she deserves to be there, and it's on merit. And I hope that she will become a very, very distinguished lawyer as well.
Okay, so that is also the trends this morning. And today, the Black Stars will play against Liberia. That's a friendly game in the Cross Sports Stadium. And hopefully lots of the other players. I hope that today, Konnosdorf, what's his name again? The German chap who plays for
So anytime you have a problem with the last name, stick to the first name.
Ransford, right? Yeah, okay. So Ransford would I'm hoping that today he'll be able to play, in that game. We'll get some game time. So Ghana Liberia, it's at 4 p.m. at the Accra Sports Stadium, and so do take note of that. Well, just before I wrap up, we all remember COVID era, and there's this funny video that I want to play. Let's watch this video.
The values of vacations in the municipality. The coronavirus applicated from 5th 2017. The project of Ghana maintains 655 million Ghanaian cedis. Indeed, I want to pull the Ministry of Coronavirus. As the Minister of Health, the Ministry of Information, are now not just in some the values of education in municipalities. The coronavirus certificated from 5th 2017. The project have Ghana maintained 655 million Ghanaian cedis. Indeed, I want to pull the Ministry of Coronavirus. As the Minister of Health, the Ministry of Information, are now not just.
So this is his thank you to the president for free SHS.
Yeah, the president I am
Okay.
Oh, Charlie.
Okay. So there's a young man that I really admire. I've seen him grow, and okay, you were not here when we had the MTN Football Academy.
Oh yeah, I think I was watching from.
So he was a sound man here.
Oh, okay.
He was a DJ. He likes to play at the academy, you know, and was a sound man at Metro, you know. And I watched him, full of ambition. He decided to save money. He enrolled at GIJ, got a degree.
Okay.
Yeah, he went to the School of Communication Studies, got a master's degree. Along the line, he actually bought his own equipment and started DJing on the side to make money to go to school and all that. Now I think he has 2 or 3 different sets. He has other people who do. Yeah, he plays most of my gigs.
Okay.
And I really admire him as a young man who believes in self-development, has done a lot. Today is his birthday. Bernard Benson Senior.
Okay.
So he was a sound man.
The sound man,
yeah,
now
sound
he's
man here. Yes. And this is what he's done for his life.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
So happy birthday to you.
Fantastic.
DJ Bernard.
It's an inspiration to all of us to seek for better, you know, better lives. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so that'll be it.
Yeah, that's
up next, Michael Kofi Oduro and his
yes.
people. I'm sure they're coming to talk about GFA elections and Black Stars.
and yeah, Black Stars and our jerseys.
Which jersey?
House of Folk jersey.
Oh,
in the trend, giddy. Our jersey looks nice.
Okay, all right. Okay. So you don't point a certain finger to your father's house. So I am restrained. Up next, Metro Sports.
The generation of trash happens from homes, industries, offices, schools, municipalities, and many other places. An exploration of these places is very important to understand the kind of trash being generated. In this season of Trash Talk, we will take you to the field to have a texture of what pertains around us. It will be a delight to join us. This and every Thursday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Metro TV as we engage experts, policymakers, and waste pickers on Trash Talk. Trash Talk, talking environment, changing behavior to change the world.